one of the clubs in Portugal. So I'm just making initial contact to try and get somebody from your club to be a future representative on this ICC that we hope to create within the next year.
Oh, that's great. I'm not sure how that works. Barry, do you know much about that?
I don't, but I've already...
Bom dia, Rosa. Estou.
That's lovely. Sim, estou bem.
Roger.
That's lovely. Yes, obviously visiting Portugal for the last few years, and you've all been improving your Portuguese, I see.
Hi, President.
Hi, Roger.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Ibrahim.
How are you?
I'm all right, mate. You?
Getting better.
Yeah, that's good. How's business? Keeping you busy?
Very.
You still work on the research and development grants?
Yeah, that's two things. I work on the research and development and some business consultancy on continuity and succession planning.
So you must be very busy then right now, if it's continuity you're involved in.
Continuity is crazy. Succession planning is crazy because a lot of people want to retire, and so we're trying to get plans. And the R&D, it's another avenue to get some money back to the businesses. So.
Yeah, I've done that in my business, and I found it very straightforward. HMRC were unbelievably helpful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a very good scheme. But I think a lot of business, unfortunately, a lot of businesses don't think they're technologically sophisticated enough to apply, so they don't. Is that the case that you found?
I think a lot of people need to know that they use scientific principles rather than just technology. And once they understand what is scientific principles, then a lot of people get on board. But it's a matter of just trying to explain that to them, and then because a lot of people think it's their day-to-day basis, so it's not R&D.
Yeah. Great, well done.
You've still got money.
Right.
Good afternoon, Michael.
Sorry, I haven't been around for so much.
Yeah. Hello.
Have we got all that?
Hi, David.
Hiya.
Good to see you on, Nigel.
Just saying, like,
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Everybody's having lunch.
Yeah.
Parmdeep, are you going to? You getting me?
Am I going to what? Sorry.
Getting my. It's Patrick. Are you getting my sound?
Yes, perfectly.
Yeah. Are you going to report on this extraordinary decision by RIBI on the 19th, which is to ban all face-to-face meetings at district and club level indefinitely?
I've only just seen the email that we got through, and I haven't had a chance to go through it in detail, so I wasn't planning to do it now, unless you want to summarise it for us today. You've gone through it.
Well, it's very simple. That they're just saying that clubs are instructed not to meet physically either at club or at district level for the foreseeable future, for the immediate future.
Yeah. Well, it's understandable, really.
Yeah, well, that's their interpretation of last week's central government stuff before we get tomorrow's from Boris.
Yeah. Yeah, I've kind of banked on the on this going on for quite a while. What can we do?
Well, apparently everybody's rushing out and buying Christmas turkeys at the moment.
No point, Patrick. There'll be nobody around your house, so you can get a very small turkey.
Yeah. I think a turkey would probably clear our garden in about 2 hours, actually, if we let it loose.
So you made it on Tara today?
yes, I did. Yeah, man.
That's good. I think, like you said, it was a password, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you for that.
All right. No worries. No worries. Good to have you on, Moira.
Hi.
Hi, Nick. Hi, Clive. And
hello. Hello there. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, sorry.
Afternoon.
Afternoon, Des.
Hi.
Ah, wasn't sure whether you could hear me. I've spoken to you before, but I didn't get anything back, so I wasn't sure whether your speakers were switched on.
How's Tony?
Yeah, Tony's made it. I'll give it a couple of minutes. Nigel, we're going to be recording the presentation, if that's all right. So do we have your permission to share it?
Absolutely.
On our Great.
How's life in Liverpool, Paul?
Life is very good in Liverpool. Thank you very much indeed, Moira. The sun is shining superbly over the golf course and the seaside. Thank you very much indeed. So yes, very happy. Thank you.
Good, good.
Nice.
Everything unpacked?
Everything's unpacked and put away. Thank you very much indeed, including the garage, all sorted. Thank you.
You better
You've
have
got the
a,
wheels on your car.
you better have a word with the weather forecasters. We sit looking at the black clouds and rain and everything else over your bit of the west of the country.
Well, at this moment in time, Patrick, I'm looking out my window and it is blue sky wall to wall. 21, it's 21 degrees. There is no wind at all. The golf course is full of golfers having a lovely time. Thank you very much indeed. And my wife and I should be down on the seafront this afternoon for a long walk. Thank you very much indeed.
Nice.
Which golf course are you looking at?
Looking at what's it called?
West Lancs, I'm sure.
West Lancs.
West Lancs. Oh, I know where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Clive and I played there last year.
Well, I overlook the 10th tee and the 18th green.
Oh, you've moved into the clubhouse, have you?
Well, I'm trying to, yes. I'm trying to get an introduction, but I'm not sure I can afford to become a member yet, Simon. It's quite expensive. But it is a very nice part of the world. It really is a very pleasant part of the world. Whether that will be in the depths of winter, we shall wait and see. But at this moment in time, it's good. Thank you.
Sounds nice. Okay, I'm just going to mute everybody to start the call. I will unmute Rosa, just so we can say hello when I get to your part, and obviously Nigel as well. Okay, hello and welcome to this Rotary Club of Leicester meeting on the 21st of September 2020. I'm Parmdeep Vadesha, the President. I would just like to welcome a very special guest we have with us today, Rosa Sareva. I hope I have that correctly.
Yeah.
And perhaps you want to tell us a bit more about your club, which is the Rotary Club of OA. You have to pronounce it for me now.
Yes, it's quite hard. It's Oadish, but I usually say Lisbon region. For many years I've been attending as a guest the Rotary Club of Kew Gardens, and they always thought I was just the Rotary Club of Lisbon, because in Lisbon we have about 21 Rotary clubs, so it's always a bit complicated. If anybody's visited Lisbon, Oeiras is kind of just on the outskirts of Lisbon, between Lisbon and Cascais. Should I just let you know? Well, the reason why, yes, I'm just trying to make a club contact, and I'll probably be joining future meetings, as now we've got Zoom, so it's much easier for us to be able to meet virtually. And the reason why I'm making a contact is I'm working with Jim Onions from the Rotary Club of Kew Gardens, and he so happens to be the national ICC coordinator for Rotary Great Britain and Ireland. What we're trying to do is we're trying to establish an ICC between Portugal and Great Britain and Ireland. as there isn't one at the moment. And the reason why I'm making contact with your club is I believe that you already twinned with a club in Portugal. So I thought it would be really lovely to have one of your members of the club as a representative of this future ICC that we're planning on creating within the near future. And I probably could come back at a future date with Jim Onions, and we could make a short presentation and be a speaker at one of your club meetings. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you. And just tell us a bit about what would be involved in terms of being a representative.
So initially it would just be the formation of of a chapter. I think they used to be called chapters, now they're called sections. And the dynamics and the objectives of each section is going to be quite different, and it just depends. Just recently in June, there was an ICC section created between the UK and Russia. And really the whole objective, the objective of that session was to really promote cultural and musical activities between the countries. Obviously I can't say what the objective would be between the ICC section between Rotary, Great Britain, Ireland and Portugal, but it's always friendship. I think ideally it's always promotion of peace is always important. Cultural visits is always important, but I think ideally if we have a committee set up, it's just a way that in future we can all connect with each other in much easier form and support each other's projects. Barry was telling me earlier how in previous years, if you've got global grants, it is so much more unifying when you have a twin club, or if you've got an ICC committee in the country as well, and you just circulate that, and then it's just a great ownership for people to support each other's projects. So it's about creating peace, supporting each other's projects, friendship building and cultural visits really. But that is really to be determined by the members of the future ICC section that would be formed within a few months, we hope.
Okay, well, all the best with that. And if any members are interested, they would contact you directly, or would they go through our club?
Yeah, I think I'll have a chat between yourself and Barry. And Barry mentioned that probably just for now, maybe your international representative, which I believe is not on the meeting today, might be the best person. But we just need one person. In future, we'll probably just have a periodic Zoom meeting. So it's much easier now just to have a Zoom meeting. Our club is twinned with a club in Leeds. And we have Bristol, which is twinned with a club in Porto. So we're hoping to get a representative from each of those clubs. And initially, we will just get the members together and then just decide a way forward and, sign an intention of creating a future committee. And then the future committee would have its own objectives.
Okay, great. Thank you. Do we have any reasons?
I was going to say, don't forget that Portugal owes its independence to Leicester.
Really?
Yeah, we got its independence from the Spanish, and also 600 years ago. We also provided you with two Leicester-born queens as well.
That's interesting. I know that Great Britain is one of our oldest allies, and it's just,
right.
That's
the same treaty.
Right, okay. Well, that will be absolutely lovely. That's why we feel quite strongly that there are so many chapters and so many countries, and that's why we thought, well, we don't have one between Great Britain and Portugal, and we thought it's about time we formed one.
We only know this because our twin club of Guimarães come across regularly and remind us of our own history.
Yes, and the fact that the Portuguese were the ones responsible for introducing tea in Great Britain.
Wow.
We'll save all that for a future date.
I just wanted to ask Rosa where she got her Portuguese accent from.
You mean my English accent from? Well, I lived in South Africa, so we were all very international. Yes, and I lived in Portugal for a few years, but lived in the UK as well. So it's just a mixture of quite a few things.
we've had a couple of guests from South Africa join us live over the last few months.
Okay.
Yeah, lovely place. Great. Okay, thank you very much, Rosa. Nice to have you on board.
Thank you all.
Okay, do you have any greetings from other clubs? No? Okay. Just wanted to quickly mention John Aldridge will not be joining us today, nor for the next 2 Mondays. I've got an update on his wife. She's weaker. She is sleeping more, and is being well cared for by a dedicated palliative care team. But unfortunately, her condition isn't looking great. She's I believe she's terminally ill. So I wish John all the best. I will write to him and try and call him as well, and wish all the best from all the members. Today, I started volunteering with our potential new Rotaractors, so that's a positive there. We went out and collected a bunch of collection elephants from Vista, so they have them in shops, get filled up with change, and somebody needs to go out and collect them. So I took out some people, and I'll share some photos on the website. We have more people going out tomorrow, so that's really building well. And I'm finding a very good response from De Montfort University students to want to be a part of our forthcoming Rotaract Club. So that's a good positive, and I'll build that up. And I think that should do very well. So I'll keep updating the members on that. Okay, any notices, Barry?
No.
Okay. Anything else from anybody else? Any other committee chairman would like to share? No? Okay, great. So it looks like you've got lots of time, Nigel, today to share your talk. So this week we've got Nigel Jobson. He's the business manager at St. Martin's House, and he's going to be sharing how the life of St. Martin's House and the wider diocese has worked through lockdown. Take it away, Nigel. Thank you.
Thank you, Parmdeep. Firstly, I should explain my voice is recovering, but if I'm sipping water during this, then I do apologise. Thank you for the invitation. Delighted to be at the Rotary Club meeting. I've been in my position since beginning of February, and on my very first day, Paul Bonnet brought me along to the Rotary Club lunch at the Grand. So nice to see a couple of faces I met on that day. Yes, so I started in February, which is quite an interesting time because within 6 weeks we went into lockdown. So it's been a challenging time, which I'll come on to during the presentation. I do have some slides to share with you. I promise it's not death by PowerPoint, but just to support more visually in terms of some of the areas I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to try and share this now. Can everybody see the slides? Yeah, that's great. So some of you may already be familiar with St. Martin's House and St. Martin's Lodge. I'd just like, for those of you who may not be, I'd just like to give you a brief overview in terms of who we are and what we are. So we're located in the heart of the Cathedral District within Leicester, and the Grade 2 listed building, which is St. Martin's House, dates back to 1877, where it was originally Wigston Hospital Boys' School, and then in latter years became Alderman Newton and Leicester Grammar Schools as well. In 2008, the Diocese of Leicester acquired the site and the building to preserve it as a Leicester landmark going forward, and then in 2011, it became St. Martin's House Conference Centre. Just to explain a little bit in terms of how we're linked in. So we have the Church of England, we have the Diocese of Leicester, which is one of 42 dioceses within the Church of England, and then St. Martin's House Conference Centre and St. Martin's Lodge, which is our accommodation, sits within the Diocese of Leicester. So as I mentioned, in 2011, after considerable investment, St. Martin's House Conference Centre was created to support the business community in Leicester, and also further afield as well. We have quite an elegant mix of contemporary with the Grade 2 listed building as well. which gives a unique location for meetings or events. So in terms of meetings and conferences, we have 4 flexible spaces, which can do from 2 to 200 people. That's been greatly reduced with social distancing. So now the most we can do within our largest space, which is the Grand Hall, is 56 people. All our rooms have natural daylight, which is not always the case for many meeting facilities. And we also have AV equipment included within all our rooms. As part of making sure we're a COVID-safe venue for people who are having meetings or events going forward, we also have a COVID-safe food and beverage offer. Now, without boring you with all the detail, it's something we've had to work extremely hard, as indeed other hospitality venues have had to do the same, in terms of ensuring that there's no transmission, there's no touching of the food. So it's kind of a pre-packaged offer which we're delivering to guests within our meeting rooms. And that's really been underpinned by Visit England's We're Good to Go certification, which ensures that we are a COVID-safe environment for people to enjoy meetings or events in. In terms of dinners and events, I'll just go back a step. So in terms of meetings, at the moment, as it stands, we can still do meetings up to 30 people. St Martin's House reopened back in August to do exactly that. So we have some new clients and some regular clients who've rebooked with us, but confidence in all things meetings and staying with Zoom is very much, seems to be the way forward for the foreseeable future. In terms of dinners and events, typically under normal circumstances, we can do 140 guests for dinner within our Grand Hall, which is a beautiful building, beautiful room in our building. Lovely lofty ceilings, natural daylight. And again, that's been reduced with social distancing down to 56 and 100 for conferencing, of which we do have bookings. We've got a wedding reception, albeit a very, very small one under the guidelines, which we can do on Saturday. But as I say, a lot of events have either rescheduled or moved to the following year because of restrictions with COVID. Also within St Martin's House, we have some fantastic office space. So conference centre represents the central part of our building. We also have the Diocese of Leicester in terms of its head office and its support functions based within St Martin's House. But we also have office space which is available to let. We have some varied tenants in there, ranging from charities to SMEs. And again, it's something we're continuing to market going forward in terms of having that flexible office space. In terms of our packages, we have specific packages for SMEs and starter businesses as well as charities, and they're available either as a serviced or co-working scheme lease. Which then brings on to St Martin's Lodge. So to complement St Martin's House, back in 2018, in the October of 2018, work was complete on a £1.8 million development of a Georgian building directly adjacent to St Martin's House, which is called St Martin's Lodge. This offers 28 luxury bedrooms. Much of the original building is being kept in terms of the chandeliers and the staircase, but each room is individually styled in sympathy with the historic characters of the building. Now, with St Martin's Lodge, because it's non-serviced accommodation, i.e. we don't have a restaurant or a bar within that, that's actually lent itself well to having a COVID-safe environment for guests. Whether you're staying within Leicester on business or indeed from a leisure point of view. So again, with that, it's enabled guests to maintain social distancing without going into public areas. Like St Martin's House Conference Centre, St Martin's Lodge achieved the We're Good to Go certification from Visit England, just to ensure and demonstrate that we're doing everything possible to keep our guests safe. We are a charity ourselves, so what we do in both St Martin's Conference Centre, whether it's a meeting, a conference, a dinner or a wedding reception, equally with St Martin's Lodge, goes to support the charities and organisations we work with. So clearly Leicester Cathedral, in terms of its ongoing development and upkeep, we contribute to that, as well as a number of charities and volunteering groups within the city. We do feel we are very much at the heart of the city and very much part of the community within Leicester City. So that, you know, the better we can do, hopefully we can contribute to that in more normal times. So what has lockdown and COVID meant to St Martin's House and St Martin's Lodge? Well, no different to the rest of the hospitality industry within Leicester. It came as a big shock at the time. We had to move very quickly to close our business down. But equally, we've been working throughout this to ensure that we have the right environment to support our delegates from a conference point of view, or indeed guests at St Martin's Lodge going forward. As I've intimated, we reopened in August for both St Martin's House and St Martin's Lodge. Business could always be better. With the continued lockdown as it was within Leicester, you know, people weren't flocking to Leicester. However, there's still been an interest in people staying from a hotel point of view, and also having smaller meetings. One notable thing we've seen as we're doing this by Zoom today, and like a lot of you, I would much rather have been there in person, is that there will be a continued requirement for video meetings of some shape or form. So therefore, hybrid meetings whereby rather than, for example, having a meeting room of 30 people, it could be 10 people who have a physical presence in the meeting, joining a wider group through Zoom or another form of video conferencing, such as Microsoft Teams. So we're working to have those facilities in more of our rooms. We have a capability now, but again, it's something we're offering going forward to those who require more hybrid meetings. Depending on the announcements from the government, as they may or may not be this week, hopefully they will be, what impact that will have on conference venues and hotels, we wait to see. But as we speak this afternoon, St Martin's House Conference Centre and St Martin's Lodge are COVID-safe environments. We would certainly welcome any business from your associates or contacts. And again, as part of the community in Leicester, we're here to support both the Rotary Club and local businesses going forward. I hope that's told you a little bit more about St Martin's House and St Martin's Lodge for those who may not have been aware of it. I'm certainly happy to take any questions.
Sorry, I was muted there, Nigel. Thank you, Nigel. I was moving my mouse around and I got confused. And I realized it was your mouse on the screen, not mine. Okay, great. So do we have any questions from members for Nigel? And if you do, please unmute yourself first. Ibrahim.
Thank you, Nigel, for the speech. Just have one question. What about parking facilities in the region? Because that area is pretty crowded.
It is, absolutely. So in terms of parking, St Martin's Lodge, which, as I mentioned, is directly adjacent to St Martin's House, we have parking there for both permit holders, and there's an element of pay and display there as well. We have limited parking at the front of St Martin's House, but also the NCP car park behind St Martin's House, we can offer a discounted rate there for any delegates or visitors.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yes, Paul, please go ahead. Sorry, unmute yourself first, Paul.
Yeah, I don't know much about St Martin's House or St Martin's Lodge, but it's all right. It's not going to be a trick question, Nigel. You've mentioned, obviously, St Martin's House, St Martin's Lodge. What about the Resources Centre? Because that's an important part of the overall development and the overall offering that St Martin's House, the Diocese of Leicester, is able to offer.
Absolutely. So yes, there's a couple of elements which I hadn't focused on. It was really concerned St Martin's House and Conference and the Lodge, but within St Martin's House, I mentioned about the office space, head office of the Diocese of Leicester. We also have a cafe called the White Rose Cafe and Christian Resource Leicester, which supports in terms of Christian books, literature, and supporting materials. So that's located just off reception as you come into St Martin's House. That has been open for 5 weeks now, supporting local churches as well as the general public coming into the building. So there is a continued interest there. The White Rose Cafe, we haven't reopened yet. And the reason being that, in terms of footfall, our cathedral is only open on a limited days per week at the moment, which very much drives the traffic there. So we are looking to reopen, hopefully, this side of Christmas.
Thank you. Yes, Michael. Please unmute yourself on. Michael, you'll need to unmute yourself on your device. Hasn't worked yet. Let me ask you to unmute. You might get a message. In the bottom left of your screen, there'll be a sort of a microphone looking icon. You can click on that.
How's that?
There we go. Perfect. Yep.
Good. Thank you for the talk. Have you managed to keep on all the staff during this period, or have you had to furlough any of them?
Thank you, Michael. Yes, so we've utilised the government's employee retention scheme from the original start of lockdown, but sadly we have had to make some staff redundant during this process, which is very sad indeed. But like a lot of hospitality business, clearly no one knew the length of what closures were going to be in place. More so from the conference centre's point of view, in terms of delays in terms of what we could do and restrictions on that. So unfortunately, yes, we did have to make some redundancies.
Okay. Any further questions? I have one. What's been the secret to your commercial success? Because it doesn't strike me as the diocese would have be teeming full of people who have a good commercial awareness, and it seems to me you've done a very good job there. What was the secret there?
Well, I think the secret is the gentleman who's on the meeting today, Parmdeep. Okay. But yes, I think it's been a lot of commitment for those people who have initially been involved in the business, from the launch of St Martin's House Conference Centre to the opening of St Martin's Lodge. Expertise is being brought in those specific fields and those areas. And it's been having the right people with the right skill set, but ultimately it's the commitment from those individuals who've grown the business to the level it was clearly prior to lockdown, and will it'll come back again once hopefully we're out of this.
Yes, I'm sure you will. You run a very high quality operation, and I think you're well known for that. So
thank you, Parmdeep.
I think you'll do fine. Okay, great. So I'd just like everybody to unmute themselves, just so that we can all say goodbye to each other as we end the call. Richard Power isn't here today to share an update, but when he's here next time, I will ask him to update us again. Next week is going to be a fellowship committee meeting, so we won't have a speaker. And attendance today is 20. There aren't any meetings after today's meeting, but I will stay on the call if anybody has any questions or anything they'd like to discuss with me. So at this point, this meeting stands adjourned, and thank you, and see you all next week.
Thank
you. See you then.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks, Nigel. It was lovely talk.
Thank you.